This is a Yin Yoga with sound healing workshop. And so if you haven't done Yin Yoga before, it's definitely a different way of being in our postures and being in our bodies. We're going to be holding postures for 8 to 10 minutes, fully supported, and I'll also, be playing the sound healing music to accompany you. But just know that that's a long period of time, and the idea is that we're working with the ligaments and the tendons. We're going to get into the fascia and the connective tissue, and so that's where we can really have these therapeutic benefits of the body. We can work through pain when we can re-educate the fascial tissue. And so when you're working with the fascia, everything else kind of follows suit. The muscle fibers and the other strength around those fascial areas will just begin to release and begin to lengthen primarily. So when we have tightness or we have pain in the body, those muscle fibers are shortened, and so that's the whole idea of yoga, right? Is to re-lengthen and elongate the spine and re-lengthen in the musculature and the fibers. So the Yin Yoga gives us that great opportunity because we're holding postures for longer periods of time. On the other side of that sometimes is hard for folks to be in postures for longer periods of time because there could be a really, maybe you have a hip injury from childhood or something, and so when you're in postures for longer periods of time, the emotional energy and the emotional experiences from our cellular activity in the body can become triggered or awakened or enlivened. And for me, that's an opportunity for healing. That's an opportunity to release what no longer is serving you in that place of your body, of that story, of your journey. And so it's a really healing opportunity for you. And so I just want to offer again that as you're in these postures, and if pain or discomfort starts to happen in the body, then offer yourself different support. And the biggest part of that is to breathe and to really invite the breath into those places of your body. We all have our own body stuff, and we all have our own journeys and histories and herstories, and so just knowing that. So take a break if you need to, come out of the postures, and then just be mindful after our practice together today. Maybe most of us are just at home anyway, but maybe you're just taking a little extra self-care for yourself today after class. Okay, so we are going to start with a reclined butterfly. Actually, no, we're not. Resting dragonfly. So this is basically a wide-legged forward fold stance, okay? So I actually do have a bolster, a yoga bolster. I've got blocks, I've got some cushions and some pillows, and lucky me, not everybody's gonna have that. So I just wanted, again, just to say, to get as much support as you can so your body is most comfortable. And so I'm gonna stick this really large bolster in front of me. I'm gonna take my legs to a comfortable V. So we're not going super wide, and it doesn't matter how wide the legs are. We're going to definitely be getting hip openers in the hamstrings, the adductors, the inner thighs. We're going to increase circulation to the pelvic floor, and it's going to also really open up our low back. So here's variation 1. And so you're basically just going to be stacking a bunch of things on top of each other so that you have your support. So I have the flexibility that this is about as much as I would want to be in my pose. Some folks don't have that, so they need more cushioning so that they don't have to bend over as far. So maybe that's a block, or maybe that's 2 more pillows, or roll up a towel. If you're on the floor and you don't have a lot of support, maybe stick something underneath the heel of your foot so that that's comfortable. Maybe you need support underneath your knees. So you just want to be able to find that level of support so that your body's comfortable, because this is how we're going to be. Okay, so it's just a wide-legged forward fold, resting dragonfly, how it's named in my deck of Yin cards. Okay, so you are all settled in your lovely pose, and I am going to play. I've got my timer up there, so okay, so let's start. We'll do this for 7 minutes. Okay? So make any other adjustments, movements so your body is most comfortable. Returning back to your breath. Begin to send some breath down into the low back, into the hips, into the hamstrings. sounds of breath. Slowly begin to release, begin to stack the spine back on top of each other, letting your head come up last. Walk the hands up the legs. And just take a moment to let the spine be tall. Let's do some few shoulder circles. Let's do 5 in each direction. All right. So we're going to move to the next yin posture. We're going to be working with resting butterfly. This is actually one of my favorites. So I think I'll show you from this direction. So again, I'm going to be using my bolster. This is where you could use the couch cushion, towels, blankets. You get the idea of having all that support. So I'm going to just show you a way to incline your big bolster, and so you can put your blocks in this way, one tall, one medium height, and place your your bolster there. We're going for a reclined butterfly position. So then you're going to take the rest on back on your back, however you can be inclined, either with cushions or pillows or blankets, and then take the soles of your feet together. You're going to let the knees fall out to the side. And so here's reclined butterfly. The arms could just be alongside your hips, kind of like a low V. Now, if this is too much, if I was at the studio, we would have a second pair of blocks that I would put underneath my knees. But you could also just roll up some towels or some blankets. If you don't have any support for underneath the knees here, then just scoot your feet further away from your body, so your legs are more in cobbler than butterfly. Okay, so reclined butterfly is where we're at for our next yin posture. Once again, keep offering yourself support as needed, so you're most comfortable as we hold here. Here we're opening the hips, the groin, the pelvic floor. This tones the digestive organs, urinary tract, and reproductive organs. So, and just remembering too that the yin postures, the yoga in general, the breath work, the meditation, we're all aspects of calming the nervous system. So we're enhancing that parasympathetic part of the nervous system and excreting the happy, peaceful hormones of the body, and gratefully having a little break from cortisol. So let's go for, we'll go for 10 minutes in this one. And again, you could also, I didn't say you could put a pillow underneath your head. However you're reclined, that could be kind of that last support for underneath your head. Cover yourself with a blanket if you like. Your temperature goes down a little bit as we get into that relaxed state. So again, make any adjustments or movements. Coming back, if you'd like, to that balancing breath, inhaling for 3 counts and exhaling for 3 counts. We'll be here in reclined butterfly for 10 minutes. Three more rounds of breath here in our reclined butterfly position. So gently reopen the eyes. Take the hands to the outer parts of your knees so you can help the legs come back towards each other, and then extend your legs out long. Reach the arms overhead, full body stretch here. Good, and then release the arms, take your feet to the floor. You could roll to one side if you want, or just using strength of your core to lift yourselves back up. And do a little bit of movement here before we move into our next yin posture. So let's just do a simple cat-cow flow here seated. So we'll take the hands to the knees, begin to cultivate that nice tall spine, find that nice tall spine. Take a deep breath in, and with your exhalation, tuck the chin towards the chest as you arch back to cat back. Inhale, pelvis comes forward, heart forward, gaze to the ceiling and cow spine. So let's just go a few more times in this way. Got some nice hip opening and low back opening, so let's just get that movement further up the spine here. Good, 3 more. Last one. And come back to center. We're going to do a simple twist. So take your right hand to the left knee, and then let that, you can take the left arm in front and then wrap that hand behind you. So fingertips will be pointing away from your body. So just moving into a seated twist. Looking over your left shoulder. Breathe into the spine, breathe into the heart. Good, and then inhale the arms overhead, look up to the hands. Exhale, twisting over to the other side. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, float the arms down, 5 shoulder circles in each direction. And reverse. All right, friends, let's move into our next pose. We're going to work with a supported child's pose. So, excuse me. All right, so if you have your big cushion or your couch cushion or several pillows, blankets, towels, or whatnot, you're going to bring that vertical away from your body, and you're going to take your knees wider than your hips, or if you're on a yoga mat, take the knees out towards the side edges of the mat, and the big toes will come towards the center midline, so the big toes are touching at the center. And then just coming down to your child's pose. And so here, you can have your arms alongside the cushion support arrangement that you have. And then some folks will want to keep their head forward, so you could rest your forehead on a block or a pillow. Or you can turn your head to one side, and then every minute or so, I will remind you to turn your head in the opposite direction. And excuse me, I'm going to need to blow my nose really quick. place yourselves then on top of that. So again, you could just turn your head to one side each time and switch a little bit, or you could just keep your head forward. And if, this is child's pose, so if you don't have any kind of cushionings, then just come into child's pose. If you don't want to use the support, that is all good. Child's pose, supported child's pose, creates flexibility in the back, the hips, the knees, counteracts insomnia, and is a comforting pose when grieving. It's definitely one of my favorites also. This is my second favorite. Okay, so supported child's pose. And let's do another, we'll do 9 minutes for this one. Okay. rounds of back breath with supported child's pose. And then let's take the head forward. If you are turning to either side, just put the neck at neutral for a couple breaths. And then walk the hands back towards the body. So you can roll the spine on top of each other so your head comes up last. And whatever you had for your supportive arrangement, if you could put that to the side, we're going to bring the knees back towards each other. We're going to come to table pose and do a little more spinal flexing before we move to our next position, yin position. So align your wrist under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. With your next exhalation, let's arch up into cat back. So press that back of the heart to the sky. We want to lift our belly button to the spine, pressing through both palms and all 10 fingers. Inhale, soften the belly, tilt the tail and the eyes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, arch up into cat back. And inhale into cat pose. So a few more times in this way, cat-cow flow. Good, last one here. Come back to neutral spine and look down at your right hand as you tilt the right ear towards the right hip. Inhale back to center, look between the hands, and then exhale, look down to your left hand as you tilt left ear towards left hip. Make a C with the body. So we'll just go side to side, just giving a nice stretch to that quadratus lumborum muscle in the low back. We're not looking down, or we're looking down at the hand rather than back at our hip to keep the neck in alignment with the spine. All right, one more to each side. Come back to center. Let's do a wrist stretch. So either settle back onto your heels or just offset onto a hip. We'll take the fingertips together, making bird's beaks with the hands, and just rotate the wrist around in circles. Reverse directions. Okay, moving to our next yin pose. So we're going to do forward resting butterfly. We did reclined resting butterfly. And so here we're going to put the soles of the feet together. And so here, if you have tightness, here's where your feet would go further away from your body to decrease the intensity in the knees and the hips. So you're either closer or scooting those feet further away. Ooh, I should have grabbed my blocks. All right, so, and you could simply be cross-legged here also. You don't need to do butterfly, bringing the soles of the feet together, but you can if you'd like. And then you could roll up some pillows and some cushions here. Here's also where you could put a rolled up towel underneath your knee, and I've got it on the bowl here, but you get the idea where you can actually get support underneath the knees so that they're not straining to hold the posture. So get some of that, and then here we could then stack a couple blocks on top of each other. So if you want to be less folded over, then stack yourself up pretty tall, or if you want to be going into a deeper forward bend, then you would let yourself go, rounding in the shoulders and rounding in the head there. Okay? Once again, taking your time to release, gently begin to stack the spine back on top of each other, letting your head come up last, and then release your supportive arrangement to the side. And then take the knees back towards each other, extend your legs out, shake out your knees a little bit. Come back to a simple seated, just comfortable seated position. We're going to do some hip circles, so hands can be palms facing down on your knees and just making simple circles with the torso. And just take some time practicing self-sensing, noticing differences or changes in the body, the mind, the heart. Next time you come up towards the front, reverse directions. Come back to center. We're going to do some shoulder and neck work. So take the fingertips at a low V alongside a little bit alongside your hips and find that nice tall spine. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, release the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale gently back to center. Exhale to the left side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, take the chin towards the chest. Inhale back to center. Exhale, gaze up to the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, returning to the right side to hold. You can bring your hands to the knees if you'd like. So tilting the ear towards the shoulder rather than lifting your shoulder to meet the ear. Relax the face and release in the jaw. If you'd like to increase in that stretch a little bit, you could extend your left arm out to the side, fingertips near the floor. Hand comes back to the knee. Inhale the head gently back to center. Exhale over to the other side. Deep, sweet breaths here. Extending your right arm out to the side to increase the stretch. And returning the hand back to the knee. Inhale the head gently back to center. Exhale, take the chin towards the chest. And then we'll inhale as we roll the right ear towards the right shoulder. Exhale, sweep the chin towards the chest over to the other side. So making a smile over the heart. Three more in each direction. Last one. Good, bring your head back to neutral. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, look up to the ceiling. Imagine you've got a paintbrush on the end of your nose and begin to paint an arch or a rainbow or a smile in the sky. So we're just stretching the back of the neck. And being mindful of the vertebra. Make sure this feels okay to your body. Two more to each side. Last set. Good. Bring the head back to neutral and then close the eyes if that's okay, or just focusing on a stationary point. We're going to do 3 integrating breaths here. Try to invite your breath all the way up into the shoulders and the neck. Big breath in. Another big breath. One more nice deep breath. Good. Gently reopen the eyes. Extend your legs out. Shake out the knees once again. All right. So we're going to move into our final Shavasana posture. And I'm going to offer just a couple variations for your reclined position. So if you happen to have a blanket, we're going to make a cervical neck roll. So fold your blanket in half. And then just either on the fringe end or not, just roll up one end. And so here's the size of my roll. It's not super big, it's about halfway, and I just need to make my thing look a little different just because of all my bowls. So this would normally be all stretched out. So that's going to be for underneath my neck. And then you can either have another blanket or towel for underneath your knees. I would use this bolster if I was going to be doing Shavasana. And so laying back, just making sure that cervical roll feels comfortable. And this is also something great if you are on the computer a lot or lots of Zoom land, to get to the proper curvature into the cervical spine, the neck. So roll up a towel or a blanket like this with the cervical roll so that you can just invite that proper curvature in the end of the spine there, the top of the spine. And then arms could just be at a low V alongside the body. You could take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. So this is an option. You could, I too think it was really awesome. This woman that came to this class before at the yoga loft did a little, she called it a Stonehenge arrangement for her feet, for the knees. So she put 2 blocks, the highest height, and then stuck the bolster on top of that, and so you get a little lift of the legs. So that's also another option for Shavasana with your cervical roll. This is kind of the same feeling as if you were to put your feet up a couch, and so if you don't have this cushion, you could still do your cervical roll and put your legs up the couch or up the wall. So find your favorite Shavasana position. Add socks or clothes. You could cover yourselves with a blanket. You know, we've been holding postures for this whole time, but just let this Shavasana be an opportunity for integration. Integrating all the breath work, integrating the meditation, integrating the postures, integrating and releasing any emotions or feelings that came up in your experience. Just let this time be of rest, but with awareness. We're not falling asleep if you can help it, and if you do, that's awesome. You'll get a nice little deep cat nap. So let's return back to the breath, noticing again the expansion of your inhalation and sensing everything return to the spine with your exhalation. With each inhalation, inviting a sense of ease and peace into the body, the mind, and the spirit. And with each exhalation, relaxing, releasing, letting go, as you invite your whole self to stay in a peaceful state of relaxation. Slowly bring your attention back to your breath. Begin to deepen and lengthen in the breath. As you deepen in the breath, begin to invite gentle, simple movements to the body. Begin to wiggle in the fingers and the toes. Circling in the wrists and the ankles. And if you'd like, extend your legs out long, reach your arms overhead, come into a full body stretch, reaching from tips of toes to tips of fingers, lengthening in the spine, awakening the body. And then if you had bolsters underneath the knees, you can remove the bolsters and maybe begin to sway your legs side to side or just offer yourself some more movement. And then roll to your right side. You can still just use your cervical roll to support the neck, or you could have your hands underneath your head and just support yourself on your side for a few more integrating breaths. And then using the strength of your hands, elbows and arms, lifting yourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Take your time. Just coming to a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. Let's take palms facing down on the knees. If you're okay to close your eyes, or just focusing on a stationary point. And just take your attention inward to your own body and into your own experience. Taking a few moments to practice self-sensing, noticing any differences or changes than before we began together this afternoon. Let's return back to a few rounds of the balancing breath, inhaling for 3 counts and exhaling for 3 counts. We'll begin together, inhaling 3 and exhale 3. Inhale 3, exhale 3. One more, inhale. Just returning back to the natural rhythm of your own breathing. You can turn the palms to the sky and receive these words by Louise Hay. Deep at the center of my being, there's an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself, therefore. I take loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself, therefore. I provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with a vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself, therefore. I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore, I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I love myself, therefore, I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good, and knowing that my future is bright and joyous and secure, for I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me now and forevermore. And so it is. Take the hands back to the heart center and the Anjali Mudra, bow slightly to the hands. Take another moment to honor yourself for taking time out for self-care, for honoring your body and your breath, and for integrating some calm to the nervous system. We're going to close our sacred space with one Om. Take a deep breath in to begin, please. Inhaling. We'll end by praying for peace with one Om, 3 Shantis and 3 pieces. Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May we carry it into our worlds. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I want to tag myself or promote myself. If you're able to make a donation today, I'd greatly appreciate your support. I am on PayPal through krubilove@yahoo.com. I'm also on Venmo, info@kristenrubis.com, and all of this information is on my website, kristenrubis.com. So it has my dates that I'll be offering, my next sound healing, my information on my yoga classes, and so my next one I think is like December 13th. That's Sunday before solstice. I will be teaching my regular class this Tuesday, and then the Yoga Loft is offering free yoga classes on Thursday for Thanksgiving. So I'll be doing a gentle yoga with sound healing class from 11 to 12. And so I don't have that stuff on my website yet. I got to get that up on the website, but it is on Yoga Loft website, which is yogaloft.biz. So we're in person, and it's 60 to 80 people per class, and we get to donate thousands of dollars to the yoga, or to the Thurston County Food Bank. I will give all those donations that I make on Thursday to the food bank, and I'll have links also to the Thurston County Food Bank. So give to your local charities. This is the time of year that all nonprofits and all places in each of your communities need support, food and clothes and money and support. So now is the time to give even more. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, stick it in the chat box or send me an email with those email addresses, and I'll see you next time. Many blessings. Namaste.